The scene that almost ended Gilligan's Island. Sit back and listen to the tale of conflict behind the scenes on Gilligan's Island. Even after the director has called a cut, things aren't always ideal on set. Who would have guessed it? You may have laughed along with Gilligan, Skipper, Lovey, and all the other characters, but you were probably never aware of these curious facts about the people who played them. The name Gilligan was chosen completely at random. You would believe that a primary character's name, mainly one that's in the show's title, would be deliberately selected. However, where director Sherwood Schwartz was involved, he randomly dialed a number from the phone book, and the name of the person who answered was Gilligan. If Schwartz had landed on Kowalczyk instead by chance, we're unsure if the program still would have been successful. The plot of Gilligan's Island was based on a Lucille Ball film. If you've ever seen the Lucille Ball film, Five Came Back, then the idea of Gilligan's Island will be familiar to you. The beloved comedy was not only influenced by the Bible, but it was also drawn from a 1939 film. In this movie, a group of survivors from an aircraft accident get stranded in the Amazon. After nailing down both the name and plot for their show, they needed to cast A-listers if they wanted their series to be truly memorable. We'll look into some behind-the-scenes cast secrets next. The original theme for Gilligan's Island was composed by John Williams. At the time, he was only known as Johnny Williams. He's now considered one of the best film composers of all time. California's lagoon in the Pacific Ocean wasn't a dream at all. An undiscovered Pacific Ocean island? I'm sorry to say, but this isn't the case. After CBS canceled their initial plan to film in Malibu, they built a set for the program in their Studio City property in California. If you were lucky enough to visit the site, you might have felt like you were a castaway yourself. The set lasted for almost 30 years before they paved over it to put up a parking lot. Natalie Schaefer was doubtful about the show's potential. To be clear, the Gilligan's Island doubt didn't just come from CBS executives. Natalie Schaefer, Lovey Howell, was also a non-believer. It's been said that she thought a sitcom with such an unbelievable premise wouldn't make it very far. But we're so glad she stuck around. There's truly no one else who could have played Lovey like her. There are two main characters who are absent from the first season credits. Russell Johnson and Dawn Wells may have been disappointed when they first watched the opening credits. Why? The lyrics of that memorable theme song only referred to them as the rest, while the other characters were given specific names. This was remedied in the second season after Bob Denver stood up for them. The following satirical reprise was made. In 2003, Tom Carson of Esquire magazine rewrote the Gilligan's Island story, except that it was much darker than the original show. Hardcore fans of the world have not been pleased with how different everything turned out to be. In this dark parody, Mary Ann has an affair, Lovey admits that her marriage was a sham all along, and the professor is revealed to be complicit in developing the atomic weapon used in Nagasaki. As for Gilligan, he spends time in a mental institution where he's subjected to electroshock therapy. We're glad that's not what really happened. Dawn Wells was not allowed to sing. Although Dawn Wells was good at many things, singing unfortunately wasn't one of them. In fact, Jackie DeShannon had to be hired to sing over her parts in songs like For He's a Jolly Good Fellow, because the actress was tone deaf. The producers realized they needed to get someone else to dub her voice after hearing an original episode where Mary Ann's caterwauling noise formed part of the plot. Phew! Gilligan was about to get a pet dinosaur. Yes, this is true. The producers came up with the brilliant notion of giving Gilligan a pet dinosaur. Budget restrictions, much to Schwartz's relief, eventually put an end to that odd concept. Ginger wasn't popular on the site. While the rest of the Gilligan's Island cast cracked jokes and giggled between takes, according to Bob Denver, Louise preferred to be alone. The name of Gilligan's mother is still a point of contention. Is it possible that Gilligan's first name is really Gilligan? According to the show's creator, Sherwood Schwartz, the hero was originally referred to as Willie. However, this was never considered an official response. It's worth noting that the only characters who were called by their surnames were the super-rich Howells, according to Schwartz. So what does this all mean? After a successful audition, Carol O'Connor almost played the skipper. Even though O'Connor made the shortlist for producers, they were concerned that his interpretation of the role was not appealing enough. In retrospect, this is probably for the best because we can't picture the skipper ever uttering "groynecologist." After bringing the grumpy Archie Bunker to life, Carroll O'Connor became a household name. He came close to landing his big break some years prior when he auditioned for the role of the skipper on Gilligan's Island. The show went on. Did you know that even though Gilligan's Island ended in 1967, its characters continued to appear in other television series for years? The skipper, the professor, Marianne, and Gilligan all showed up on Alf in the 1980s for an episode in which an extraterrestrial falls in love with one of the show's members. Additionally, Roseanne included several cast members in a scene, and Denver even recreated his most famous part for a McDonald's ad. Schaefer was the only actress to do her own stunts. Natalie Schaefer proved that age is only a number throughout her one-woman show, Lovey. Despite being in her 60s, the actress was prepared to do all the stunts herself. Swimming and eating ice cream, according to the actress, kept her in shape. It had to compete with similar sitcoms. CBS president Larry Tygand was not a lover of the program. He didn't care for the entire island thing, as he called it. He felt that shooting the show in a luxury resort would make it better. The Baileys of Balboa, on the other hand, were prematurely canceled after one season. As a result of this failure, Aubrey lost his job. A few mistakes were cut for the sake of time. For any Gilligan's Island fans out there, you may have picked up on one or two bloopers you've watched the show enough. For instance, in The Friendly Physician, parts of Los Angeles can be seen hanging suspended above the trees on what's supposed to be an uninhabited island. In another episode, They're Off and Running, single Gilligan is wearing Bob Denver's wedding ring. Tina Louise regretted putting on the program. Years later, the film legend said that Gilligan's Island had ruined her career. Tina Louise's agency allegedly informed her that the show was supposed to be her vehicle to stardom. However, when she discovered that she had to share equal screen time with 6 other cast members, the actress was taken aback and began having disagreements with producers regarding the role. Perhaps this is why she didn't appear in the movie. The scene that almost ended Gilligan's Island. The scene that almost ended Gilligan's Island was when the cast and crew were filming the pilot and JFK was assassinated. Following the terrible incident, the U.S. authorities shut down the Hawaii Navy facility where the crew was shooting for 48 hours. She lied about her age and said she was younger. You might be surprised to know that during the filming of Lovey, actress Natalie Schaefer was actually 12 years older than her on-screen spouse, Jim Backus. To keep this a secret, she even put it in her contract that the camera couldn't zoom in too close so viewers wouldn't see any wrinkles. Jerry Van Dyke was the original choice for the part of Gilligan. The producer's first choice of Gilligan was Jerry Van Dyke, younger brother of Dick Van Dyke. The role was meant for him, but he turned it down because the pilot screenplay was the worst thing he'd ever read. He went on to be in My Mother the Car, which some might say is a worse show. Natalie Schaefer is rich in real life. Natalie Schaefer may not have to stretch too far to play Lovey. When she landed the role of Thurston Howell III's selfish wife, the actress was already a wealthy woman. Schaefer and her husband made their fortune in Beverly Hills' post-war real estate market. There was no news on whether the couple received an oil business as a wedding gift, though. Ginger was almost portrayed by Jane Mansfield. Jane Mansfield was approached to play the film actress, but her third husband persuaded her not to take the part. Before becoming a veteran, I was a member of the armed forces. The actor's previous profession was quite different. He joined the United States Army Air Forces as an aviation cadet after graduating from high school. In a fun twist, he used his GI Bill money to pay for acting lessons, subsequently becoming famous as the professor. Some viewers thought the show was real. Some Gilligan's Island fans were so enamored with the show that they failed to distinguish between fiction and reality. When the show first aired, individuals wrote letters to the American Coast Guard asking them to rescue the stranded Gilligan and his friends. In one letter, the writer implored, "Why not send one U.S. destroyer to rescue those unfortunate folks before they starve to death?" Perhaps because it's a TV show? Miss Nevada. Well, we know Dawn Wells is a great actress. Not everyone knows about her previous achievements. In case you're not aware, Wells had received the title of 1959 Miss Nevada. The crown paved her way to obtain a scholarship in the University of Washington, where she majored in theater. After Wells graduated, she moved to LA to pursue an acting career. As she held a tremendous urge to act, she never wanted to be branded as just a pretty face. That's why, despite her natural, attractive appearance, Wells remained determined and worked hard to make sure she could obtain the success she always dreamed of. Even though the cast of Gilligan's Island seemed like a bunch of lovable misfits, they all had their own secrets and quirks. Some of these secrets were just amusing tidbits about their personal lives, while others were a bit more scandalous. We hope you enjoyed learning these fun facts about your favorite TV show.